The Wealthy Life is brought to you by investment dealer Raymond James. Life well planned. See what a Raymond James advisor can do for you.
There is no shortage of things to save for, and we live in a society where it's becoming expected for parents to pay for their kids' post-secondary education. But is that really the right thing to do? And what are the options? With me today is Lee, a dedicated mom, dancer, choreographer, and part owner of Danceco Dance Studio. Welcome, Lee.
Thank you.
So you work with kids all day long. Does it get a little bit crazy?
A little bit. I definitely need my downtime, but the best part about my job is sharing the love and passion I have for dance to all ages of kids.
And how many kids do you have?
I have one son.
Tell me a little bit about him.
His name is Mason, and he's 2.
Ooh, terrible twos?
A little bit, but I feel pretty blessed that he's pretty easygoing. So.
Good.
Yeah.
And what's the big question you have for me today?
Well, I need to decide on how to save for his post-secondary education.
Now, do you feel as a parent that it's important for you to carry that weight?
I would like to help him, but I think it's also good for him to learn how to save up for, what he wants.
Well, that's a great answer. So you're not putting too much pressure on yourself to cover the whole thing, am I right?
That's right.
I always say that parents need to make sure that they look after their own financial situation first. It's like when you're on an airplane and the stewardess tells you when the oxygen mask comes down, you need to put on your own mask before you help others.
Right.
Easier said than done, but it won't do you any good if you're both not getting oxygen.
Right.
So take care of yourself first.
Okay.
What do you think Mason will want to do when he grows up?
I'd love for him to dance. But, at this point he's 2, so I have no idea.
Is he showing some musical interest?
Yeah, he does, but he loves sports and hockey and basketball, and so.
Now, have you started saving at all yet?
I haven't.
How about for your own retirement?
Yes, I have. I put a little money aside every month.
Good. And do you know what the likelihood of Mason attending post-secondary education is?
Gosh, it's hard to tell. He's only 2.
No parent knows. Every parent wants to make sure that they've planned for their kid to go to post-secondary, but there's no guarantees.
Right.
But what we're going to do is we're going to help put a plan in place so that you meet your needs and hopefully can meet Mason's needs, whatever they may be down the road.
Perfect.
Welcome back. We're here to help Lee find the best way to save for her son's post-secondary education. So Lee, do you know much about registered education savings plans?
I know a little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
So an RESP, as it's also known, is a great way to save for a child's post-secondary education. The reason being, there's all kinds of tax benefits, and even better, the government gives you free money.
Perfect.
So when you put money in to an RESP, which is a type of investment account, the government will match up to 20%.
Wow.
So if you put in $2,500 a year, the government is going to give you 20% of that, which is $500 a year. So your total monthly savings or annual savings is $3,000.
That's great.
Yeah, so far so good.
Right.
Now, as a parent, you still have to come up with the $2,500. But even if you came up with $1,000 and the government matched it with $200, you're still getting that 20% grant money.
Sounds good, yeah.
Now, a couple of things to be aware of. There is maximums. You can't just overfund this thing and expect the government to just keep giving you money left, right, and center.
Right.
The maximum amount of contributions over the plan life is $50,000, and the maximum amount of grant money is only $7,500. So you have to be careful about that.
Right.
So let's talk a little bit about what education costs.
Okay.
Do you have any idea what it's going to cost you to send Mason to school?
No idea. I have no clue.
So in Canada right now, the average cost for a year of tuition and books is about $7,000.
It's crazy.
Add on top of that, the average amount for room and board is another $9,000. So you're looking at a total of $16,000 every year. Now you think the average degree is 4 years? That's going to be $64,000. Now you have the benefit of time on your side. Mason is only 2 years old.
Yeah.
So he'll and you will receive the power of compounding. That's a huge benefit.
Right. Okay.
The downside is inflation will be working against you.
Right.
By the time Mason's ready to go to school, you don't need $64,000. You need more like $102,000 if inflation averages at about 3% per year.
Right. Ooh, sounds like a lot.
Now, if you had $100,000 lying around, are you going to find it easy as a mom to then fund education?
Well, if I had it lying around, yeah, it'd
Yes.
be easy.
Okay. Well, when you plan, it will happen. So does Mason know, or do you know, the chances, of course Mason doesn't know, he's 2,
Yeah.
the chances of attending college or university?
That's hard to say, right? I would love for him to. I know my parents saved for both my sister and I the same way, and we didn't end up going. We didn't use it. So, you know, there's that question of, will he use it or not?
And what does he want to be when he grows up? Who knows?
Right.
So we want to plan for that, but
Yeah.
we're going to have to plan within your budget. I'm going to give you a couple other numbers to consider.
Okay.
So if you can come up with the $2,500 every year, and the government will match it with another $500, you've now got $3,000 a year. You would need to earn 9% on your money for that to grow to the just over $100,000 that you need to fully fund the 4-year program.
Right.
Is that doable?
Maybe with some help.
I'll tell my viewers it's not doable. Well, it is maybe doable, but we'd never plan using a 9% rate of return.
Right.
Do you have much investment experience?
Not a lot. I do invest for my, retirement.
Yeah. So for planning purposes, I really like to assume a 6% average rate of return instead of 9,
Okay.
assuming you're still comfortable with a moderate risk profile. And we'll save that for another day to go through all of those scenarios. So if we can earn 6%, you would need to save $4,000 a year to fully fund.
Okay.
Are you going to do it?
I'm going to try.
Well, I'm going to take some pressure off you. Maybe ask grandparents, aunts and uncles, get other people involved who want to see Mason attend college or university.
Right.
So that's one way. Or second, don't worry about it. Plan for yourself first. Make sure that you just save enough within what you can afford. Don't worry about saving the whole amount. I think it's really important for kids to have their own skin in the game. I think they value it more, and it's too much pressure on the parents. And I've heard so many stories of kids who, yeah, mommy and daddy are paying for it, so they spend the first 2 years partying too hard, failing their classes, and what should be a 4-year degree turns out to be 5 or 6 years.
Right.
So work together, get Mason involved, get him saving later. I mean, right now he's 2, but start saving what you can,
Yeah.
and later get him involved.
Sounds
He can get a part-time job. He can get a student loan. I had student loans and was able to pay it off really quick as soon as I was done.
Perfect.
So hopefully that's been helpful. I really appreciate you coming on the show today, Lee.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. It's been very informative.
Good. Are you feeling a
Yeah.
little more confident moving forward?
I am, yes, yeah.
Great.